Hello, everybody. I hope everyone is staying safe. My name is Bayani, and today we are cooking fried chicken with Inasal flavors. So let's briefly talk about Filipino food. The flavor profile of the Philippines are savory, sweet, and sometimes spicy. This is all due to the colonization of Spain and the trading of goods between China, India, Thailand, and Japan. So inasal means to char roast or grill. It's from the Visayas region, and more accurately, the Negros Island. So typically you would char roast or grill, but today we are going to deep fry it because deep frying is delicious. But I would definitely recommend you trying out grilling or roasting it as it is originally done. Anyways, so with all that said, let's go.
All right, sous chef Murphy, you ready? Murphy? Okay, let's make some fried chicken in the south. So we start off with 1 tablespoon of achiote paste, 1 tablespoon of fish sauce and soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of distilled vinegar, 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar, black pepper, couple garlic cloves. We'll use about a quarter of the lemongrass, 1 scallion. And then as far as equipment goes, we have 1 whisk, 1 rubber spatula to make sure we scrape off all the ingredients out of the bowl, 1 chef knife, and we have a couple bowls here. We have one to combine all of your marinade ingredients together, and a second bowl to combine your marinade and your chicken. Now, as far as chicken goes, I use a whole chicken leg bone in, but you can use chicken breasts or just chicken thighs or just chicken legs or a combination. Okay, now to demonstrate my speed. So as I begin to cut the ingredients, let's talk about recipe. So this recipe here is just a guideline. You don't have to follow it exactly. Like if you find yourself a person who doesn't like achiote as much, you can always use a little bit less. If you don't like sugar, you can always cut it down. The most important thing here is for you to taste your marinades before you combine it with the chicken. You can always add more ingredients, but it's very hard to take it out. Okay, now we're going to combine the rest of the ingredients into the bowl. We want to make sure that we incorporate the sugar and the black pepper and the achiote paste very well. You have to go in there and use your fingers to break down the achiote paste a little bit, and go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we're going to take the chicken and place them in the bowl and combine the marinade with the chicken. Make sure to use your rubber spatula. If not, just make sure you get it all or enough of most of the marinade in the bowl. So you're going to want to toss the chicken around. It's not going to seem like a lot of marinade, but a lot of the flavors there are really strong and intense that it'll be enough. So what you want ideally is to let it sit for at least 6 hours, but I really prefer that you let it sit overnight. All right, fast forwarding 6 to 24 hours later, we have a large mixing bowl, a whisk, 1 cup of flour, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, quarter cup of cornstarch, quarter cup of brown rice flour. So then next, we are going to combine all the dry ingredients. When combining dry ingredients, make sure you give it a good whisk all together so all the ingredients are nicely incorporated. All right, next, we're going to move on to the wet ingredients. You have a large bowl. So we have 1 cup of milk and 1 egg. So go ahead and crack the egg into the milk and whisk it thoroughly. At this point, I'm adding about a quarter cup of dry ingredients into wet ingredients. What we're trying to create here is a loose batter, kind of like a crepe. This will help create that crispy chicken skin. It'll help the batter adhere to the actual protein. Okay, now it's time to set up our chicken to get nice and crispy. So we have our wet ingredient, our dry ingredient, our sheet tray lined with parchment paper, and we have our chicken that has been marinating for at least 6 hours. So when prepping your chicken for frying, you have one hand for wet ingredient and the other hand for dry ingredient. This helps with cleanliness and structure during the process. So you start off with dropping your chicken into the wet ingredient and then into the dry ingredient. You want to make sure you coat the chicken thoroughly with your wet ingredient. And then when you're placing it into the dry ingredient, make sure you pat it down to make sure the flour sticks on to your chicken properly. I would like to let my chicken sit for at least 1 hour in the fridge before deep frying, or you can do it immediately, but I like to let it sit for a little bit because it helps the actual flour stay on the chicken. All right, so now for our final step, let's head on to our deep frying section. Woo! All right, we made it. So now we get to deep fry some chicken. Okay, so my setup here, I have a pot with neutral oil filled a little under halfway mark. I have a candy thermometer. I have a tray lined with a rack and paper towel. I have a spider to fish out my chicken. You can use a perforated spoon or a tong. So the most important thing here to know is to always be careful. Be safe. It's hot oil. You don't want to get burned. So you want to always place your chicken down away from you and not towards you, just in case you do end up dropping the chicken. At least the oil is splashing away from you. Also, the temperature of the oil is at 325, and you also want to drop one chicken at a time. Well, that depends on the size of your pot. My pot's a little smaller, so I'm only allowed one chicken. If I drop two in there, it would drop the temperature down too far, and it would cook longer than I want it to be, and it would become a lot more oily than I want it to be. I cooked the chicken for about 14 minutes. For a whole chicken leg bone in, for a chicken breast, it could possibly be 10 minutes. Just make sure to always take your temperature. Boy, oh boy, it's finally here. Fried chicken with Inasal flavors. So, after it's all done being fried, I like to add just a little bit of salt on top. You don't have to do this. This is just me. It's my own personal preference. Okay, let's check out how crispy it is. So I personally like my chicken with some steamed rice, a side of chili oil, some sliced scallions, and some achara on the side. Achara is a Filipino pickle of carrots, green papaya, onions, bell peppers, vinegar, sugar, and raisins. But honestly, you can do whatever you want with it. You can make fried chicken sandwich, make a fried chicken wrap. You can toss it in some noodles. You can put it on top of ramen. It's fried chicken. You can do whatever you want with it. All right, enjoy.
All right. Now that we are experts in fried chicken with Inasal flavors, I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope this recipe brings you all comfort as it does for me and the people that I love. I want to thank the people organizing the Moon Festival and for giving me the opportunity to share this recipe that I enjoy so much. Okay, guys, I hope you're all staying safe. Paalam.